Hi everyone, I am Inti. I will tell you about my favorite game of all time, Bloodborne. So that you have some context, it is a semi-linear game where you face with difficult enemies and final boss, which will make you die many times during the challenge of pacing it completely. What makes it different from other games is that it takes a very interesting Lovecraftian essence. Let's start by narrating his story. It all begins when we go to the city of Yarham, a city that is famous for the use of blood as a remedy for any type of disease. This blood, ancient blood or old blood, was found in ancient catacombs and is believed which is related to the gods of the universe. In the game, they are called the Great Ones. The scholars of different schools initially investigated this flood until a scholar named Ludwig, facing his teacher to overcome it, decided to use this blood with medical purposes in the street of Cheltenham. Everything was good at the beginning, and Ludwig became very respected. People were cured of cancer and other chronic disease. Unfortunately, the ancient origins on this blood and the dark secret that was in it exploded. This this caused that some people uh, who had contact with the ancient blood or the old blood lost their sanity and become monsters similar to werewolves among other creatures. Ludwig quickly found the curse of healing, and together with his good friend German, the fish hunter, the hunter easily case trying to seal this. Ludwig despared when he saw the massive increment of monsters taken by means of the old blood to find the solution. Achieving those have contact with a great or the great called lunar percent. The lunar percent saying that not of the possess sufficient lucidity. Decided to take away Ludwig's friend German. Ludwig promised to bring him back from the other place where he was taken, where his soul he will be enslaved by this god as a gift for hunters. And here our adventure begins. We arrived in Jarkhan because of how famous this flood is to try to cure ourselves or a disease. Unfortunately, when it was in Jarkhan, we were taken to another world, to the same where German was taken, pointed by the lunar presence, and some the way we were chosen. This caused us not to become beasts, but if we if we became hunters. The hunters in this world have the mission of eliminating the plague of beasts, resulting from the old blood and are killed by German, who we only know that is a man in a wheelchair who will help us voluntarily. So in order to survive and escape from this world created by presence, which is not reality as we know it, we must face different creatures such as werewolves, horrors, dogs, corrupt inhabitants, priests, cursed beasts, and among others. Even other hunters corrupted by bloodlust. Also, we can also have aliens if the game gets complicated. While we are advancing in the game and defeating enemies, we manage to find something called umbilical cords. The product with these cords are the result of pregnant women who lose their baby. How something so crazy can be related to everything that I have encountered. The lunar present symbolizes the woman, and the objective of this is to have a child in some way. Unfortunately, she has not been able to carry it out, which caused the woman in her world to also lose their baby, as is the case of the prostitute and Josephka. But wait a minute, what is lucidity? To answer this question simply, is it a knowledge that is beyond human in some way or mind being so limited is not capable of present lucidity is represented in the game by us, and we obtain them killing strong enemies just as they are bosses. The more lucid we have, the more we are able to see in the words of Bloodborne. That but always been there, since the character has the knowledge to recognize. In the game, we have three endings. At the end of the hunt, we when we manage to kill all the fetus of the lunar presence, believe me, they don't have a penalty for how old they are. German often opt to leave this name voluntary, more than us in this game, so that we key up in what is the real world. A rather melancholic ending in my opinion, since we leave poor German in the circle of sadness. Then there is the end where we decide that we don't know to be killed by German to escape. Her German see he gets mad at us for not wanting to leave, and with infinite gratitude he tries to murder us. So uh, us so that we can escape. Finally, we can defeat him. German thanks us for letting him go from that nightmare and being able to finally wake up. What follows that is that the lunar presence goes down for us the Supran German eternally. Obviously, this is the bad ending. The third ending, for me, the best of all, having the triumviral course that gives us impressive lucid and wild allows to resist the control of the lunar presence. After finishing with German, these destroyers a fight between us and the god. When they manage to assassinate her in a frenetic and crazy battle, the lucidity we get is such that we end up becoming an ex-god. Yes, that beautiful pulpit you become when you reach the level of a god. Well, I hope you liked it. Obviously, I skipped centuries of story of this beautiful game. That game that makes it more interesting. That is somewhat. I hope that at least you will see it. You are hit. Bye.